Hello and welcome to today's episode of Word on We Are Side. My name is Ellie and joining me are my two co-hosts.
I'm Taylor.
And my name's Luke.
Today we are going to be talking about a big problem in the world of grassroots football, and that is lack of funding. Without funding, many Sunday League teams simply wouldn't exist. Joining us to give an insight, we have two guests. The first one, Johnny Dunn, who is club secretary of the Grange, who are a Sunderland Sunday League team currently playing in the First Division. And we'll be hearing from our other guest, Jake Holyoke, who is a local businessman who will be giving us a business point of view.
So we've actually got Johnny with us now in the studio. Hello, Johnny.
Hi.
You're the club secretary and the chairman of the Grange. Been doing that now for over 10 years.
Yes, 12 year to be precise. 2012 is when we first started the team up.
So just for people who might not know, what exactly do you do as a day-to-day thing as a secretary chairman of a Sunday League football team?
It's arranging the fixtures with the other team, collecting money off the players, off the pub, off the other sponsors we've got for equipment, kits, tracksuit tops, whatever we need really. But it's a never-ending task, really.
So in terms of like the money side of it, like you touched on a little bit there, which is a bit more of what we want to talk about today, is what is like a season costing? Like what are the breakdown of the costings? Like what you have to pay out, how much, and
Well, over the past years it has increased a lot now. It's like coming up £3,000 a season now with pitch fees, referee fees, obviously league fees, FA fees, cup entry fees, everything like that. So like since 2012 when we started, it's definitely doubled in the past 10 years.
do you think there's more help in terms of from the FA and like other things now than there was back then, or is it just the same?
In some aspects there's like more facilities and things like that available, but year on year the fines for yellow cards, red cards, things like that seem to increase, which has the knock-on effect for the lads themselves pulling money out.
Yeah. So how much do you think it costs Sunday League team over a course of a season to keep running?
Over the course of the season you're looking at £2,500, £3,000 all in, and that's probably not even including fines you get that the lads are pulling out themselves.
And you've got to raise all of that yourself?
Yes, obviously sponsorship from the pub we play from. We've brought a couple of other sponsors in over the past few years as well, just to keep afloat really.
Yeah, so it's expensive, and it's not an easy thing to find sponsors either.
It's not, it's very difficult. Luckily we had a few people who know Jake, who we're going to hear from later on. He was happy to help out this season, and obviously the Grange has been very good with us, obviously paying pitch fees, getting us new kits.
Do you think there's like more the FA could possibly do to like make it a lot easier? Because I know like around from where I am, there's quite a few Sunday League teams that are folding. So do you think there's anything more they could do to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, going back to the fines to charge people, there needs to be a different punishment, because like 40 quid for a red card is a lot of money. People might not have 40 quid around. Like for me, just do a 3-match ban, do a 2-match ban, something like that as a punishment rather than any financial penalty for them.
I think like from obviously what I said, there's many people, like many teams that are folding, but obviously it's the exact same price as what the Premier League players pay for the fines, isn't it, as well?
It is, yeah.
I think, like personally, I think they promote a lot with the grassroots when they do different facilities, but there's like so much more they could possibly do to make it like easier for teams to run. Because I feel like they build all these facilities, but they don't actually do much, because you've got to use them anyways, haven't you?
That's the thing. Like the hubs, like if you train at a hub, I think it's like 90 quid for a pitch for an hour. So you get 10 people there, you're asking a fiver a man just to train, which again some people might not have.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of the teams use the hubs now, because we've got the one at Washington, Downhill, and then Ford Estate as well. We've got the 3 hubs in a stupidly close distance to each other. I think probably about 80 to 90% of the teams use hubs now. So how much are the pitch fees for a season for a hub?
This season there were 930 for the season. You can pay them in 2 halves, which it's still a lot of money to pull out in 2 goes. And I think there's about 12 pitches between the three hubs, and there's like 2 teams per pitch per weekend. So the hubs must be making well over £10,000 just on pitch fees alone.
Do you think the hubs have been a help or a hindrance?
A bit of both. Obviously it does make sure with games are on, they're not getting called off for waterlogged pitches and things like that, but on the other hand, you're getting lads picking up a lot of injuries, costs us solid service all the time, there's no break. One of our host Taylor here is injured more than anybody I know.
That's true.
In terms of the fines as well, like you mentioned there, is obviously, people might not know, is obviously if somebody gets booked, they get a £12 fine for a yellow card, and it's £40 for a red card, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But what people might not understand as well, these are people that just play. Some people don't even have jobs, but most of them, like electricians, working class people, they're paying the same money fine wise as what if you watch the Premier League if one of them get a yellow card or a
exactly
red.
the same, which is absolute madness, really, because our lads are paying subs to play the game. They pay £3 a match to actually play the game of football rather than getting money
I think
for
that's
it.
one thing that could definitely change. Like, 'cause that makes no sense to me at all.
It's already bad enough, especially with red cards. Is like you're out of that game straight away, obviously, which hinders that game. But then, like, obviously, you miss like the next 3 games as well. Like, you're already hindering anyway because it's hard enough to get numbers together on a Sunday morning, and then sometimes the financial aspect, like the financial penalty of it, just
Like what you said before, I think like just having the ban so much easier. Like if you ban them for 3 games, it's still a big like ban, yeah. Instead of then having to pay £40 on top of it as well, it just makes no sense to me at all.
And I think as well, like the £40 will pay for the referees. Some of the standard of refereeing you get, obviously, I know we need them to get the league running and things like that, but you get some of them that don't leave the centre circle, and then they'll send somebody off for a foul. He's made 50 yards down the pitch, and like you cannot say that foul.
Yeah, some of them can't be. Some of them have a real attitude as well.
Yeah, aye.
A real attitude of I'm refereeing the game, I'll referee it my way. Yeah, we've now got Jake Holyoke, who owns One March, a local businessman from Sunderland who helps sponsor the same team that Johnny runs in the Grange, and just trying to get a bit of a background of what benefits there is for sponsors out there who are looking to sponsor Sunday League teams, and maybe Jake can give us a little bit of an insight as to why you started sponsoring the Grange.
There's a few reasons that I sponsor a local club. One, because I've been there before and I know kind of how tough finances are at grassroots football. It's only getting harder. So it's nice to be in a position to be able to support local pubs and big clubs and any clubs really where we can. But one of the main reasons which people don't really kind of think of, get lads off the street, helping men's mental health, helping obesity rates, and that's what Sunday League football does. So if we can somehow support that, then in the council's eyes, that also looks good to us if they ever wanted to help us potentially grow it in the future. So it's not really just about the name on the front of the kit, which is, there's other better sponsoring that people need to start considering, because they just see it as parting with cash for the name on the front of the kit.
Saying there about like the council and that as well, are you one of them people that would push other businesses to help other Sunday League teams?
100%. I think it's got to be right for the business so as well.
Obviously, I know you said a few positives before about like why you sponsor them, but what do you think is the main point that you like sponsor them? Like, what's the biggest positive for your business to like do that?
Brand's a big thing, especially because we're a new business. There's no better way for people to recognise your brand. Even if they don't want PR right now, they might remember that in the future. That's always going to be the why against that. However, with there's been so many people involved in Sunday League or any Sunday League, on the pitch or off the pitch, then it's going in front of the same people every week.
Point of view, have you had like a good experience in funding?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've already had a few people. Well, I think it's like that because now everything's more digital. But even by the lads posting on the Facebook pages sponsored by One March. So we've had a few inquiries of people just seeing recognising our logo. Whether it's come directly from that, I don't know. But sponsoring the club's the only thing where we put our logo out there. So it's got to be, really. To be honest, as well, for the outlay of a sponsorship, it's worth it alone just not getting eyes on the prize. Like, it's, if you're a business and you're selling to the masses, there's no reason why you wouldn't get involved. And you know what? You feel much better getting involved in supporting local businesses, supporting local football clubs and things like that. No, that's what it's all about, really.
So do you get much like financial gain from it, or is it more you just like to do it for the area and you like the team?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I didn't know any of the lads before I took the sponsorship on. I took it on for a couple of reasons, really. We're launching a new business. We need to be out there in front of different people, not the same people every week, which is why being in the Echo is great, but it's only great for 1 week, not ongoing. You don't know who you might see. And obviously, as well, because the Sunday League's now expanded more nationally, if you enter the county cups or anything like that, everyone wearing your rain jackets out in a different area of the country, for a small outlay, it's worth it for that alone. Whereas historically, everything was just based in your area, but now there's a chance to go national, and it's such a huge thing, Sunday League now. If you're saying that there's 200 people, let's say 100 people there with players and people there to watch every week, And over the course of the season, that's quite a lot, and the different people every week. So you'd have to pay a hell of a lot more in advertising to get in front of that amount of people.
Right, and so just lastly, touching on the mental health aspect you mentioned before, was that a big part in why you decided to fund?
Yeah, it was a big part of why I funded myself, but also if I can keep the club running in any capacity, then that's also 30 lads there every week that's got a group there that they can, spend time with outside of the norm. And yeah, I think it's a big thing. Like for me, I like to be out and about, speaking to people, especially like-minded lads from the local area. I think it's really important that clubs like this keep running, because if not, what are these 30 lads going to be doing? Because I know in my case, I'd just be sat at home feeling sorry for myself. So it's a big thing for me, huge actually. Like I would happily triple my sponsorship if it meant to keep this club going, because I think there's a wider benefit to the lads and everything that's part of it. You're in group chats, you're surrounded by, you meet new mates, and you're doing something active on a Sunday. So yeah, for me it's huge. I think it's a really big thing. You talk about a tick in the box with the council, but it does. It is getting lads off the street. It is getting blokes together. It is, that type of thing. I think that's really important.
So I think we've heard some very interesting points both from Johnny and Jake, giving us a business perspective and a personal point of view, highlighting on such a big issue in today's society, which is mental health. I hope that this podcast has given you an insight into an ever-growing problem in the world of football and is something to think about. Thank you for listening to our podcast, and I hope you have enjoyed.